Joe here from Draft FPL, and welcome to a weekly series helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. If you're interested in Draft FPL tips and strategy, then make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. And if you want to join our Draft FPL community and support the channel, there's a link to our Patreon down below where you can join our private Discord server, and we'd really appreciate it. Game week 5 is obviously a mid-game week, so we've got a really tight turnaround. So let's get stuck straight into this week's waiver picks. Okay, so my first pick this week is a Crystal Palace centre-back, namely either Guehi or Anderson. These are available in 68% for Guehi and 72% of leagues for Anderson. So pretty much most leagues will have one or the other available. This data is, as always, from draftfc.co.uk. They have a load of data on their website about Draft FPL, so definitely go and check that out. I think Palace are probably one of the most defensively sound teams in the league. They don't have much attacking threat from the fullbacks, so I quite like the two centre-backs as they do have a bit of goal threat from set pieces, and they're both pretty good on bonus as well. Brentford at home is a great fixture for Palace. I think, the fixtures Palace had at the start of the season were really tough, and this is quite a reprieve in the middle of that, so I do expect them to perform quite well in this, and I would not be surprised in the slightest of a clean sheet. So I think Guehi or Anderson, if they're free in your league, should be a priority this week if you're in need of a bit of defensive reinforcement. Next up we have Sessegnon. Obviously Perisic started at Forest today, so you would expect from Conte's comments Sessegnon will probably get the nod midweek. It doesn't look like Perisic is going to be playing midweek and weekends. It's West Ham away, which isn't the easiest fixture, but the Spurs left wing back slot is probably the most attacking defender spot in the league, and if Sessegnon does start and gets at least 60 minutes, which you'd expect him to, then this could be a real upside pick. I don't think many people would be that surprised if Sessegnon managed an attacking return in that game, and a clean sheet isn't out the question, so this could be a rare occasion where you pick up a haul off the waivers. Third and final defender this week is Llorente of Leeds. I think Leeds are much improved defensively under Marsh compared to what they were like with Bielsa when they were kind of all guns blazing. They're not really like that anymore. They still press very high, but they're much more organised and defensively solid with that double pivot. I think Everton at home is a really good fixture for them, and I think Everton might struggle a little bit with Leeds' high press. I kind of looked at the stats of which of these Leeds defenders to go for, and the fullbacks aren't actually that attacking. The two most popular picks are Strike and Christensen on the other side, but to be honest, the attacking numbers aren't really there for them. I'd rather go with one of the centre-backs, and obviously then you have a bit of chance that you could spike a set piece goal from one of these, and Llorente seems to have the most effective threat from set pieces, so he's the one I would pick out of the Leeds defence, and someone I'm looking at wavering in myself this week actually. And Llorente is available in 93% of leagues, and I would imagine that at least one of the Leeds defenders is available in basically every league. So it's someone everyone can definitely look at picking up if they think they need a bit of extra cover in defence. On to midfielders then, and my first midfield pick is someone I absolutely love watching play football, and that is Eze of Crystal Palace, available in 41% of leagues, which was a little bit surprising actually. I thought it might be a little bit lower than that, but 41% of leagues means you've got a reasonably decent chance of getting hold of him. Obviously this week they've got Brentford at home, as I said about the defenders, which I think is a really good fixture. I fancy Palace to do a job on Brentford, to be honest, and Eze should be at the heart of everything Palace do going forward. He plays that number 10 role. He's an absolute baller, and is someone that I think you'd really enjoy having in your team because he's so much fun to watch on the pitch. He's put in some really strong performances already. The points haven't really come for him yet, but I expect them to. The data's really strong, and he's a good player as well. So I think the points are going to come with Eze as the fixtures improve. Next up, we've got Andreas Pereira, someone I tipped a couple of weeks ago when Fulham were at home and he had a really good week that week. He is available in 74% of leagues. I think he got dropped quite a lot ahead of the Arsenal away fixture, but they're back at home this week against Brighton, which will be a tough fixture. Brighton are a tough nut to crack, but I do think with it being at home, I fancy a Fulham goal at least in this game, and Andreas Pereira may well be involved. His performances so far have been really good, especially in that home game, so I'm hoping he continues that form this week. And when he does get some kind of attacking return, it's almost certain he's going to be on bonus because he ticks all the bonus boxes for a midfielder. Finally, we have Elanga of United. They've got Leicester away on the Thursday evening this week, and I really fancy United to get a few goals in this. Leicester's defence looks absolutely atrocious. I think this is going to be a really fun game, actually. I could expect a bit of a goal fest in this one. I'm expecting with this pick that Martial's going to miss out. Obviously, we don't really know at time of recording. It's only Sunday evening at the moment, so we've not heard much from Ten Hag yet about the status of Martial. But if it does look like he's going to miss out, I think Elanga will definitely start. Leicester have been prone to conceding chances from wide areas, and especially on the counter-attack, which I think United are going to thrive in. And Elanga especially, that's exactly where he gets his points from. So if he does start, I expect him to do quite well. But this is one of those picks you kind of need to keep one eye on the press conferences and on the information just to make sure it looks like Martial's out, because I think if Martial starts, then Elanga may well start on the bench. So definitely one to keep an eye on. On to forwards, and the first one is the most obvious pick ever. I wasn't even going to put it in the video, but I thought I better had just for completeness. He's obviously available in 100% of leagues. It's Isaac, just signed for Newcastle. Wilson's out injured. Wood didn't do a particularly good job today, so I really think that Isaac's going to come straight into this team and perform well. I think every single person in every single league should probably have him at the top of their waivers, unless you have a ridiculous front line. I just think it's an absolute no-brainer, really. I'm not even going to go into it in that much detail. I know it's Liverpool away this week, which isn't ideal, but that's not really relevant for this kind of long-term pick. Next up, we have Neil Maupay. Very kind of similar situation. Obviously, he's already in the game, so he is only available currently in 50% of leagues. But he has moved to Everton. Looks like a decent stopgap until DCL's back from his injury, but who knows when that's going to be. So you would assume he comes straight into the team. It's Leeds away this week, which isn't the worst fixture in the world. And if Maupay does get the start, you could potentially see an attacking return. But to be honest, it's always handy to have a starting forward in Draft FPL because they are generally quite thin on the ground. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of Maupay, it's still a decent pick. Finally, we have a bonus third forward. I think this is the first time I've ever managed to get 3 forwards into the waiver picks video. We've got Solanke this week at home to Wolves. I think he looked really lively when he came on versus Liverpool. I know they were about 7-0 down when he came on, which isn't ideal. But I think they've got a decent chance against Wolves this week. They're at home. I don't think that they're not going to capitulate. You would expect to see a reaction from the players. And I think Solanke, once he's back starting, he's going to be absolutely key to Bournemouth. And I could see him getting off the mark for his season this week. He's available in 54% of leagues. Obviously, a lot of people dropped him with his kind of injury problems at the start of the season. But I think this is the week he really kind of gets back in his stride. So I think he's actually a good pick this week and someone I would look at starting if I could. Okay then everyone, those are my waiver picks for game week 5. Make sure you set your waiver priority as soon as you can. The waiver deadline this week is obviously Monday evening, 24 hours before the game week deadline, so you don't have much time to plan these. If you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe, and we will see you again next time.